Day. Man, that song was. Hope you guys like the waiting room song. It's pretty magical, right?
It's spectacular.
Spectacular piece of equipment. Welcome, guys. How you doing? Welcome to Sharpening Thursday 101, guys. We had a little request last week, so this week we're doing we're sharpening some Nakiris today. So last week, one of our gentlemen, one of you folks, asked us to do one of these guys. So the question was, can you guys sharpen as a Nakiri? Yes, I will sharpen you as a Nakiri. Today, what I'm doing is I'm going to be sharpening up this Fujimoto Nishiji Nakiri. This guy is about 165 millimeters, blue core steel with the stainless laminate. This is probably one of the easiest to sharpen. I'm going to demo you guys how to do this by. And then also in the same category, I believe cleavers are kind of in that same kind of department too. The Sharpen very similar, but I would say the biggest difference is these guys, you can typically sharpen them at a higher angle and not have to worry about them not being sharp, because usually these type of like larger cleavers are meant to kind of like bang it down on the bowl. Sorry, table. Like kind of chop right through bones, right? So you gotta have something that's gonna be fairly durable, but still sharp enough to kind of whack right through those bones, right? So we're gonna show you this probably a little bit later on. In the meantime, we're gonna show you guys how to sharpen this Nakiri at this moment.
Our buddy Damon is asking if we have any of the Mizaki Gyutos at our store, and we do.
I think is that Suji Hiko that we have?
No, we have the Mizaki 240.
Yeah,
the sort of.
We were actually talking about it today. That thing has a amazing like kind of like a spear tip kind of design to it now.
Yeah, they're super cool.
It's not as like curved, but it's like a nice little bit of like a flatter surface. But they are sharpened very, very nicely, and they have this kind of like hand sharpening kind of look to them, which is really cool about Mizaki. Yeah, come on the store if you're by Vancouver for sure. All right. So let's get started into it. We're going to go through a couple through stones first. Stones are really your first kind of equipment that you want to get before you start sharpening, so you can actually sharpen your knife. So we're going to go through the different grits. We're going to go through what extra accessories you probably need to get as well, and just the whole process of it. So the first thing first, we're going to go through what's the first and most important stone to get. So your choices there are actually somewhere between 800 grit all the way down to like a 2000. The most common first one is the 1000, and that's kind of like a do everything stone. We classify these as like a more of a medium stone. So I have on the table here a Knifewear Professional 1000. This guy is a nice green brick. If you guys, I'm just gonna celebrate. Oh, we had this yesterday was St. Patrick's Day, right?
Yeah. Happy belated St. Patrick's Day.
We have a couple green stones here. So this is the Knifewear Professionals. Biggest difference that you see between these two, these are actually the same stone. We used this over the last year or so. So you can see how much material gets rubbed off from them. But as long as you take care of them, they can last you quite a bit more. I'd say this can last us maybe about 3, maybe 5 months more before it starts to kind of die out on us. Or one of us breaks it at some point, right? And usually that's the first thing to happen.
Hey, James, I still got the Kyoshi Kato here. Come in and check it out.
Yeah, man. You got that guy in the back of the shop if you want to take a look at it.
And AJ, you should always buy Hanoras. Just do it.
Always Hanoras. Hanoras are the nicest.
Yeah.
You'll never regret buying a Hanora.
No, they're dope.
So that's the 1000. We also have other types of 2000 medium stones.
You okay there?
Yeah, I'm fine. This guy is a 2000 Tricera. We don't actually sell this one anymore. We sell just the professional ones, but they're exactly the same thing. It just doesn't come with the base. The 2000 Tricera is quite nice if you sharpen your knives more often, but don't want to move as much material like a 1000, because even though they're fairly similar in smoothness, this one does take a little bit of material quicker over time. And then the 800. 800 is really good for speed sharpening. If you need to take away a bit of material, but you don't want to be jumping from like a low grit to a medium grit, this guy is great at that. I usually like using this for like just doing quick touch-ups on my knives, and I don't want to get edge up to them. So that's kind of our trio of medium stones there. You have another question?
Asavet is just asking if we've got any Takeda folders in stock. Yeah, I don't have any in Vancouver right now, but we should have some coming in pretty soon here in the website.
Yeah. Check it in on, like, we're checking it on April. Sign up for a newsletter. You might be able to find them in the future. We might be holding another garage sale in the few months. So that's kind of the best time to check out if we have any Takeda folders in the future.
Yeah. For a second, I'm just going to turn this heater off.
Oh, hi. I always just turn off the heater right there. So next set of stones that we're going to go through is probably kind of your polishing stones. So the polishing stones are kind of your next step up from the 1000. So we get sometimes the United Way Professional. This is super dirty.
Yeah.
That's super dirty.
Been using that all day long.
All day long. You see how that grit just kind of moves off, right? But that's our 3000 grit stone there. You can also get this line up to like 6,000, even 8,000 grit stone as well, right? These polishing stones are much finer in grit, so they're used to kind of refine those teeth much better. So on a carbon steel Fujimura Nakiri, it's gonna take a very nice edge. So like an 8,000 with this guy just screams out sharpness. In the other case of sharpening like a larger cleaver, like I wouldn't bother to go any higher because all I'm looking for is just like a really good edge, and it doesn't need to be refined because I'm gonna be whacking it through stuff anyway. So 1,000 is just that sweet number. 2,000, even better. Right. So that's the higher grit stones and the medium grit stones, right? Now, if you find that you're sharpening that cleaver and it's taking just way too long to get into, or just to kind of form the edge on the blade, it's best to kind of start with a lower grit. So grab yourself like a 150 grit, maybe a 220 grit like this guy. You could even start maybe a little bit higher, maybe a 400, even a 600. So these guys are fast-moving stones. They basically remove material much quicker, and they typically wear down a bit quicker too. So these guys are for like taking away chips, damages, especially on a softer steel. It takes a bit of time to kind of sharpen a knife. So these guys will just speed up the process of sharpening. And it's a lot less frustrating that way. Sometimes when you first start sharpening, you're going to be on like a medium stone for like 15-20 minutes, and after that 20-minute mark, you're just like, am I getting it right? That's why you start on a lower grit, just to kind of get it formed, and then when you move on to the medium grit, it's just a lot less troublesome in the future, right? So yeah, we're going to get into like our coarser stones. Typically, a lot of them need to be soaked. So how can you tell if they need to be soaked or not? Is usually by telling them just by soaking them in the water. So let's go for this bucket here. Oh my God, there's nothing.
Is this the one that's been soaking all day or no?
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been soaking all day. So let's see. So there's a bit of bubbles kind of forming on this one here. A little bit of soaking happening, right? When I take it out of the water, you can see a little bit of water kind of sucking really, really quickly, right? I'm gonna add a little bit more water, right? Stones that need a bit more time soaking usually dry much quicker, much quicker. Typically, if I put a little bit of water, and then you see that water absorb pretty quickly, you see it's getting dry and whatnot. As long as the water is staying on top, that's what you want to look for. That way you're not sharpening on a dry stone and it heats up, right? You also want the water to be on the stone so that the mud works around the stone. So you get a really even sharpening, and it polishes much better that way. Okay, so that's how you can tell if you need to be soaked or not. With the professional series stones, these guys, usually you want to keep them out of the water because you can just simply put water right on top. And the water on a lot of these guys just sit on top really nicely without it soaking under. All right. So these guys are usually what we call magnesium stones. You just put water on top of them and start sharpening right away. You want to avoid soaking for too long. or else they can crack, and that can cause a problem with sharpening in the future. All right. Let's move on to the next thing.
We just had a really quick question from our buddy H. He's wondering your thoughts on Western versus Japanese style Nakiris with as far as handle goes. What do you like, Frando?
Well, I have really bad wrists from just having arthritis. So I typically like a lighter knife. I actually like a Japanese style Nakiri. I like the movement of the heavier front. I can hold it a little more of a looser grip here, and you usually get the motion of the blade better. Typically with the Western style one, you have more of the weight here, so you're moving your whole arm more often, right? But some people like the weight in their hands a bit better, but I personally like using these guys a bit better. It's morely because I've been using like Chinese cleavers my entire life, so all of them have a very heavy front and a very light backing. So that's also where I like Japanese a little bit better. Yeah. Moving on to the actual sharpening. Okay, so in terms of setting up your sole station, we have a couple of different ways of doing this. We have the sink bridge. We have just like a simple stone holder, or you can have like a towel or some kind of mat under, and you just sharpen right on the tabletop here. But these guys are like, you want something to kind of lift it up, just so that you can have a bit of knuckle room, so that when you move your hands around, you're not going to be knocking your knuckles in. Yeah.
Our buddy Trevor's got a really quick question. He's been using the Sharpens. He's got himself a 220, 1000, and 6000. Would you get a stone to fill in between the 1 and the 6, or do you think that's a good gap?
That's a good gap. Yeah, like 1 and 6 is quite nice. Like the 1000, 6000, you said, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So 1000, 6000 is perfectly fine. Maybe if you want to get something right between, like a 3 or 4, for maybe some stainless steel knives. That's quite nice, because if you refine it, sometimes it's too much for 6000, but it's okay if you want to refine everything to a 6000. You got the low 1000, and that's going to create a bit of a scratching. And then when you move it up to a 6000, it's not going to get rid of all of them. It's just going to leave like a nice polished but bit of a toothy kind of edge to it, which I really like. So don't feel bad about going to 1 to 6. I would say it's not as great if you go from 1 to 8, right? But keep it below 6, and you should be fine.
Yeah. You also don't need to do any fill in between your 220 and 1000. That's a great jump.
Yeah. If you want to like replace, like in the future, like fill in with a 400, just so that you don't really use all that grinding stone, right? Because that's a pretty aggressive type of grit. It's nice to have like a 400, 600, so that you don't grind so much material off your knife, and that's kind of handy. Yeah.
You're welcome, Trevor.
Yeah. So let's get into the Nakiri here. So the Nakiris are actually one of the easiest knives to sharpen because of how flat the surface area is. You only have to do a little bit of like a lift from the belly on, and then the tip of the knife, there is no tip, but there is a bit of a curve, right? So you can either just sharpen just up to that point there, or if you want, you can sharpen with a bit of a curve, right? And like you gotta kind of rock it, kind of a U shape like that, kind of weirdly, when you're sharpening a Nakiri, right? So that's the only difference. But the whole thing is actually relatively easy because it's pretty flat altogether. So with these guys, like measuring using like nickels and stuff like that is much easier because it's more even across the entire blade. So you can have a stack of quarters, like 3 nickels, have a bit of a space like about a thumb or finger width, and then you can drop it down, and you can have this Nakiri at any point of the spine there because it works across the entire blade there. There is a very subtle curve, but it's not going to change a lot in terms of angle all the way through. Another way that I developed is I've gotten a couple of magnets, which does the same thing too, right? You can also get a simple little toe grip, right? And this guy just kind of helps so that you can place your knife right through the grip, place it right onto the ceramic, and then you sharpen right on top of that guy and holds your angle steady, right? And this also has that same thing where you can place it anywhere and it'll be relatively the same angle across the edge there. But you generally just want to have muscle memory. The more you practice, the more you do this, the easier it is to follow along. and sharpen over time, right? So I'm going to use my nickels, place it right there, place it on the stamp. That's my little stack there. That's the angle I want to do it at. I will have my fingers kind of measure it out from here to there, and then place it on my stone, and that's the angle I want to put it at to it. Okay. So I like to start with the tip of my knife first. So I go from the very front end, and then I sharpen, just gently walking my fingers down towards the very heel, and that will give me a nice even sharpening, right? So how do I do this? Is 2 fingers right at the top. These 2 fingers are applying pressure right at the front end of the blade, right? And then this hand just helps to control the actual movements of the blade as well as maintaining the same angle, okay? So 2 fingers right on top, and what you want to do is just start to move it up and down at the same pressure, I would say. You may want to put more pressure towards the push, a little less pressure towards the pull, right? And count about 10 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You want to go nice and gently and slow. Speed is not a factor here, guys. The more consistent in terms of the angle, the better the result's going to be. So once you pass about 10 times at the very tip of the finger, move it down towards the next place, which is right around there. And I continue on to sharpen.
Our buddy AJ's asking about Nakiri with a 0 grind. You got a Takeda Nakiri, I think. Yeah. And so how would you modify your technique? It's a little bit trickier to sharpen Takedas, isn't it?
So like the Takedas are very a bit tricky. Though the way that they're done is they actually go at a very low angle. What I would do is take your fingers, lay the Takeda flat onto the stone, and then using the Takeda, just push your fingers against the bevel, and that's the angle which you want to do it at. It's too bad I don't have a Takeda here right now.
Yeah, we don't have a Takeda to sharpen here right now, but I'll bring in mine one day. Maybe we can do a Takeda class someday.
Yeah, definitely.
Maybe Naoto can do a Takeda class someday.
Maybe Naoto can do a Takeda class one day. They're a little bit trickier to sharpen. Another way that you can get around it is simply like doing the Takeda way, which he suggests is put the knife onto the board.
Oh, he already did a Takeda class.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. He did one 2 weeks ago. There you go.
Perfect.
Yeah, it'll be up on our. I believe it's on our YouTube page, so you can look for Naoto sharpening the Takeda right up on there.
Snap, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also ahead of the curve. All right. Where was I? Okay, so right when I get to this point here, so I'm in the middle of the sharpening here, continuously to sharpen all the way down towards the very heel of the blade here. Okay, so once I count 10, 10, 10, all the way down to this back end here, I will simply just lift it off the stone, and then I will give it a quick check, right? Just kind of see where the burr is. And what a burr is, and before you guys ask, this thumb, I did cut myself, okay? What you want to look for is the burr. So what a burr is basically once you grind 2 sides of a blade, right? The very tip of the blade, you don't know when you're touching it. So what happens when you get to the edge of it? The apex tends to form and curl over the edge, and that's what we call a burr. You can actually physically feel the edge as you sharpen. So basically, you take your thumb and you brush it towards the very edge, and you should feel like a little catch, right? This is a very similar feeling if you were to, like, say, clip your nails and then have this very rough kind of feel to it. You want a similar feeling as just a little bit of that metal catch, right? So once you feel the burr, that's kind of where you know it's done in that area. If you don't feel the burr, you want to go back to that area. So how you want to do that? So say, for example, like right here, this general tip area, where I just missed this, right? I don't feel any burr, but everything else feels very nice, right? So I'm going to place my fingers directly over that area, apply a little bit more water, get my angles right, apply the pressure with my 2 fingers, and then just gently rock it back and forth. About 10 times.
We got a request.
What up?
Let's take this guy up all the way to our 16,000 grit Sharpen.
Oh, God.
Let's do it.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay.
You're right, blank. Why not?
Why not? I gotta poke that open. Perfect.
I don't have a 30,000 grit open right now. Sorry. We'll do the 16 if that's good enough for you, Mr. Blank.
We'll get there. We'll get there. Just for you. For you. All right. So we got our 600 or 400 grits on this side here. The burr has been developed. Once everything feels even, you feel the burr all the way across, you can flip over the knife now. Right? So you can do it different ways. My recommended way, just simply rotate your wrist, right? When you go from the front side, you can rotate your wrist and you can do it to the back side. Very, very simple. Another way you can do it, just do ambidextrous. You can do your left hand. A little bit harder. I know some people love to do left hand, some people don't. This is a personal preference. If you feel like everything should be done with your right, stick with the right. I am a one-handed side sharpener, but when I'm doing certain things, I like to do both hands. But it really depends on what kind of person you are. Yeah, so let's do the other side here. So the overall process from doing it from one side to the other is the exact same thing. It's just now you're going to be knocking the burr off of this one edge, and now you're going to be forming it onto the other. Okay, so 2 fingers around the tip here, and nice steady angle, and just push it up and down 10 times. Now you want to use a lot of your stones, so like I don't use this top part very often, so I'm going to make sure that I touch that area. Don't touch this bottom area very often, so I'm going to use that area quite often, more often than the side. Right? And then continuously move your fingers, just dance your fingers across the blade, and eventually you'll get to the very heel there. Nice even pressure. Okay, once you get to the very heel there, and you got a couple passes in through, you want to lift it off and just give it a quick check, right? So you can actually hear it, that burr kind of form up, right? It feels nice and catchy, a little empty there, so go back to that little area, maybe about 3 passes, go check again, right? So once it's nice and even, I can move on to the next one. So the nice thing what I did is I started with the 400 on this guy. So the edge has been basically established now. So every step from here on is a lot easier. If you were to start on with a typical, like maybe say a 1000 grit stone, you have to form the burr as well as keep it at steady angle altogether, which is a little bit harder with the 1000 because the burr doesn't pop out as much, right? So it's a little harder to find the burr, as well as it doesn't remove as much material with each pass. So you're more likely to end up with a bit of a rounded bevel, kind of a convex kind of grind to it. Just because if you're not really good with like maintaining the same angle, right, it can cause that kind of problem. So that's why I always suggest 2 stones. It just makes it a lot easier. But if you're stuck with one, just do one.
I got a great question from one of our buddies on Instagram here. How about tips on wood handle care? How do you like to take care of your handles on your knives?
Oh yeah, wood handle care, it's pretty easy. Wood handles, your natural oils off your hands actually help to kind of oil it over time. When you're drying it, just dry it when it's wet. When you wash it, you can wash it, soap, water, you can rinse it, you can soak it. But at the end of it, you want to make sure you dry it down before you store it away at the end of the day. In terms of overall care, you can use a bit of like, say, mineral oil to kind of coat the outside of it, right? And that's something that is very easy to kind of apply. Another option too, and one of my favorites, is actually beeswax, right? Beeswax is great for coating the outside. So one thing you'll notice is this stuff is not much of a liquid. It's more of like a thicker kind of material. So compared to oil, the wax can actually stay on top and actually form a kind of a layer on top of it, which helps to protect the inside core. So I actually like to apply a mineral oil just so that it soaks into the handle, and then you apply the wax on the outside, and then it'll help protect it. Ooh, I like that. Now my hand likes to be all squeezy and stuff.
James is looking for some info on how we install wah handles. Stick around for a minute, James, and we'll give you a quick rundown after we're done sharpening the knife.
I'll give you my 3-step process there.
Yeah, don't be a stranger, James.
James never a stranger. Don't be a stranger, James. Okay. So that's how you wax the handle. You can see, like, even like after a little bit of work, I see.
there's a wah handle installation video tomorrow at 4 with Napto.
Nato knows exactly.
He's all over it, James. We'll see you tomorrow at 4.
Nato's on it. Wow.
And soothsayer.
Okay, where am I?
You're doing the 1000.
1000. Okay. So I have a Sharpen 1000.
Ooh.
This guy's pretty dirty, so I'm going to use my Nakiri stone. Right? Man, I'm using all the materials today. Nakiri stone is essentially like a 600 grit stone. That's a bit of a smaller block, and this helps to clean the surface area of your stone and picks up a bit of the mud. With the Sharpen glass, they don't build a lot of mud. It's the kind of the downside about them, but they feel incredibly nice. I'm gonna give this a couple passings, and this is gonna help to lift a bit of those black markings off the stone there.
If you're just doing this style of sharpening that we're teaching right today, if you're just doing micro bevel sharpening, I very strongly recommend these Sharpen stones. I think that they're maybe some of the best that we carry.
And then if your Nakiri stone just slides around so nicely, then you know it's flat, right? Okay, so that's a nice little stone there. I'll leave a little bit of that grit because that's fine for sharpening. Add a bit of water there. And then I could just start sharpening right now. So I'm just going to apply the same kind of method with the first 400 stone that I just did here. 2 fingers at the top and then run it up and down. So this time I point now, because, the reason why I mentioned and recommend you go up and down 10 times is just for consistency purposes. So if you want to maybe do less strokes between, so maybe 1, 2, 3, and then move your fingers down. You can do less strokes because now the edge has been formed. You don't have to work it so hard. You don't have to do it at such a high rate, right? You just want to do enough, and then that can. That's fast.
That was quick, yeah. It's a
right?
fast cutting stone.
Easy, 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 easy. Once you get the burr on the other one side, get the burr on the other side. Do a nice couple passes. You can see 1, 2, 3, and 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Right? And like I said, speed is not a factor. Always go as nice and slow, as much as comfortable as you can, maintaining that same angle. Okay, just test the edge, see if you feel that burr on the other side. Once you do, you can move on to the next stone. So one extra step that I'm going to do now that I like to do is I like to actually strop my knives on the stone. Because now all the burrs are still kind of stuck on there. It's on this side of the blade because I just added it with that side. I'm just going to basically take the heel or tip the knife and just kind of pass it in one direction and then onto the other side like that. Right? So what it's going to do is just going to knock off the burr. Right? It's going to clean up the edge a bit. Right? Because I know the burr is already there. It's already been nice and consistent. But when I move on to the next stone, it's not going to leave like little fragments of metal on the higher grit stone. But it's also going to be a little bit easier to kind of figure out what the burr should feel like. Right? So just a couple, maybe a duo of passings, and then that's pretty much it there. A nice little clean of the stone because I never do that, and good to go. That's all it is. Next step is a refinement. So, geez, we're going on 16
What do we
now,
got? Yeah? We got so many. Yeah, we're gonna go to 16. So let's jump up to, I don't know. How about a 6? How about the 6? 6K?
6K.
Yeah.
So we have Emina Ketiyama. No.
Arashiyama.
Arashiyama 6K. So each stone is going to be a little bit different. This is actually a soaking stone, a bit of a soaker.
A little bit of a soaker.
Yeah. Some stones need to be soaked, some stones don't. This one's a tricky one. You can see when I put water right onto the surface of it, it stays, but it's also sucking it pretty quickly. You can see that little dry spot right down the middle there. You may not be able to see that.
Oh yeah.
But it doesn't accept a lot of water, right? So usually you want to soak it for at least 5 minutes just before you start. We keep it dry, but we want water to be at least a little bit of water inside the stone, right?
Yeah, so, whatever you do, don't leave that guy soaking in the water for too long.
Yeah. Okay, so after minutes, you can see now the stone has a bit of a better kind of acceptance of water, so it doesn't kind of dry out really quickly. This guy builds up a lot of mud, which is good for sharpening. You've been hearing me say mud is a good thing, right? So especially on this guy. This guy is an Arashiyama 6K. It's got a bit of a natural grit to it with this synthetic stone. So as you sharpen it, the natural grit on this guy will tend to kind of break down a little bit finer and will give you more of a polish to your knives. And this is one of the best in terms of getting that really nice mirror kind of look to it, or that shining to it. So yeah, let's get into it. So we'll get the 6K, a little bit of water, just so that water stays. And then I'm gonna apply a bit of heavy pressure at first, just to build a bit of that mud
Yeah, I think blank's right. I think we should do 6K, then 10K, then 16K.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I like him already.
Yeah.
I like him already.
Tell us a little bit about this stone. It's a real weirdo, isn't it?
Yeah. So the 6K, you can see like it's building a bit of mud. This guy's a bit of a softer stone too. Softer stone is, depending on how you like it, it's not super soft, but it's definitely able to kind of, if you have a really high angle, you can gouge into this. You can actually create like accidents, like this guy right here. I'm gonna do a little bit of it.
I hated that.
But like the stone was so soft that my knife was able to kind of cut into it. Sorry guys, you just have to see it. I've done that so many times.
Yeah, by accident. Yeah, it was nasty.
Yeah, it's not the greatest feeling. You're like, oh no, the knife, right? But usually the knife is fine at the end of the day. Okay, so yeah, you apply a little bit of a pressure, right? And because this is a 6,000 stone, you can work it a bit more, and you really refine those edges, right? So you can do more passes than the 1,000 that you did. And after you do a couple passes, you can light it up the pressure, right? Let the weight of the knife do most of the work. Some of that mud is now free floating around, and it's gonna give you a really nice even sharpening. And less pressure is gonna help to kind of polish it a bit better. If you apply too much pressure, it's gonna contact the bottom of the stone. It's gonna create more scratchings, right? It's not gonna really polish the edge.
Oh, we got more requests now. These guys have all sorts of requests.
Savages.
After our 16, can we finish it with a Japanese natural stone, Francis?
I guess so.
Yeah, I mean,
So
we gotta
a lot of stones today.
we gotta give these nerds what they want, don't we?
All right. So we have our 6K finish here. We just did the backside. Okay. You can see that mud going out really nicely. The shine on the blade. So I'm gonna hold it.
Yeah,
still.
hold it steady.
Well, Owen does a bit of the camera.
How do you like that,
here.
YouTube and Facebook? How you like that?
How do you like that? Okay, no. I don't.
Was that a song?
I don't know. All right, so you got the shine of the 8K, 6K now. Next stone. Funny enough, I don't have a 10K, but I do have a 10K, the one that I almost never use.
Oh, I think I know which one you're talking about. The behemoth. Oh, now we can show you what happens when you soak a Chaucera stone.
Yeah, it's just the one version of it. This guy.
We didn't do it.
We didn't do it. I got like, what's the word I'm trying to look for?
I don't know.
I got this one from Kelowna.
Yeah, this one has been around the block. This stone has been here longer than both me and Francis, and it is webbed.
Yeah, webbed the heck out. So
Yeah.
you can see a little bit of those cracks inside of them. Sharpening is not a bad thing. The edges come out relatively good, and you can get that really good polish to them. The only thing that you can't really do with this is like wide bevel polishing and getting really even looks to, say, the full polishing up here.
I finished my straight razor on it the other day, and it was fine.
It's fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sharpening is fine. It's just polishing is a bit different, right? So that's why we have it around. The stone is so thick that it is so fine that we'll never go through this.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That thing's gonna last forever.
Yeah, exactly. So we're gonna go through the 10K. Come a little closer. Let's see how this sounds.
Oh, that's nice.
I don't hear anything. Oh, here, I'll shut up. It's getting a little crackly in the back.
A little crackly. That's okay though.
Crackly.
Yeah, James, don't soak magnesioid stones like this one. Yeah, it's not a pretty sight.
Yeah, you spend so much money on a stone, and then this happens. It's a terrible feeling, honestly.
This is a $319 stone too.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't look great. But you can hear like it sharpens quite nicely, but it does have a bit of crackly here and there. Right, we don't like to waste stones. We don't waste stones here, right?
Never. No, we never throw stone away. We always use it. Check out Francis when you're done there. You should show him your collection of destroyed stones.
My collection of destroyed stones.
Yeah.
I have a jar of little 6,000s that I like to keep around. I have my little jar of little 1,000s and 220s and like all broken stones. Like a lot of it comes from this tiny. When we get too thin of a stone, right? So,
yeah, that one's almost fit for the pit.
Yeah, this is original size, by the way, guys. Right, so at some point, like we'll use this stone, and like it'll be on this bridge. And all of this give you a little lesson here. So they're on this bridge here, right? There's this little middle part of the stone holder here that helps so that you see that little bend down there. That's gonna crack if you apply pressure. So that's why that's there, right? But that's also primarily why they make glass stones that way.
Yeah.
Right? So the Sharpening glass has the name Sharpening glass because it has a glass backing, but it's primarily for that reason because you can apply more pressure. It's not going to break on you. Which is
I was really worried that it was just going to break.
I was really hoping it'd be like, oh, terrible video now. All right. So we just went down to 10K. Let me put my little scragglies in this corner there.
All right. I think we're at the 16K. I think is with the straight razor stuff down there. Yeah.
We'll get the straight razor. Oh no.
Yeah, we've got a special box of straight razor stones so that goofballs who work here can't touch our fancy stones.
Yeah, these ones are very fancy.
Yeah, this is the Owen and Francis box.
And
I
have a very clean stone holder. I got my Sakura in there. I got a couple of specialties. My 12K. I'm not touching 12Ks with knives, guys. But I will touch this 16 grit really nicely here. All right. You guys seeing the weird side of me today. All right. So this stone definitely needs a flatten. Because it's just been sitting in a box for a little while. It's kind of got all dried up and whatnot. Right. So I'm gonna give it a quick little Nagura. Where's my Tomo Nagura? Okay. So we have a bit of a finer Nagura here.
Does anybody out there in internet land know what the word Tomo means?
Tomo.
Don't tell them.
I don't. Because I don't know either. Surprise me.
I know.
I don't know. I'm terrible at this. Okay, so the stone's a little bit dirty. A little bit of water. And Nagura stone here, Tomo Nagura. Like the natural Nagura stones, I like to start off with a bit of a natural stone. Did I spray your pants there?
No, sure. Why not?
Perfect. Just kind of get the mud going on this guy.
You are correct, blank. It's friend or same. So when you say Tomo Nagura, that's when you take a Nagura stone and you make slurry against the same stone, but like a sharpening stone.
Oh.
Tomo Nagura.
Tomo Nagura.
Hi.
Okay, so this bridge, I'm just gonna clamp it down with maybe some towels there. So if it's not sitting properly, I like to use a towel sometimes. And the stone should move fairly freely throughout. I like to use Tomo Naguras. Some Naguras are really nice. I've when I first started sharpening in the first like kind of 2 or 3 years, you kind of have this idea like you don't need a Nagura because you always have like flattening and chewing stones to work with. But over time, I just started to love Naguras and just clean up because I don't really need to flatten them all the time for certain stones, which saves a lot of material and just a lot of fixing.
Our friend Van Isle IPP would like to know where we got that little shelf back there, and none of your business. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
Every piece of furniture, maybe not those tables there, is from Kelowna.
Yeah, they've all got seniority over all the staff here, so yeah, we don't know.
Yeah, everything's from Kelowna. I have no idea where it comes from. You can make it yourself though. It's kind of cool. Yeah, less crackling. Man, the stone's so smooth. So nice.
It's a nice stone, man. 16,000 grit.
Okay, looking pretty good. Tip them. And that you can see that Tomo Nagura just that mud from there. Just kind of work around that stone. Okay, so that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna do 2 things. I'm actually gonna give this guy a quick little wipe first, and I'm gonna show you guys just the actual edge because this stone is so fine. You can scrap it a couple times on the edge, and then you can get a really good edge on it. But even off the paper, off the stone, without any stropping, feels incredibly nice.
Yeah, there's no strop on that. That's pretty cool.
You see how smooth that incredibly. Like maybe you can see it, maybe you can't. but it's just a very smooth type of cut. Just you can get it hair thin. Boop. Right?
Nice.
It's so easy to get a nice fine cut. But like surprisingly, because this is the 16,000 grit, it can be even sharper than that, right? So something as simple as stropping, right? Stropping on the stone might be able to.
Oh, don't forget to do the natural stone.
Oh.
Yeah, we got to do natural stone before we strop. Yeah. These guys, we're gonna be here all night.
God dang. Okay, so 16,000, nice stone. Give it a little wipey wipe. Now I'm just gonna give it a quick little testy test. Man, my band-aid is coming off. Coming off band-aid.
Does that feel nice?
Yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
It's actually just a tad toothier, so it's actually quite nice here. I'll find. So nice and long. So that's a 16,000 grit. I can definitely strap it on some leather, but you dingus wants natural stone. So
what natural do you do your razors on? What natural do you finish razors on when you do?
Razors. So there's two different kinds. Typically razors I would do 12,000. For stainless steel. Carbon steels and camisoles, I would use this one here. It's kind of muddy, but it's just the mud from this stone here. I don't know what the stone is.
This is a mysterious stone. We were not exactly sure where it came from.
It's just from Kelowna.
Yeah.
We're just gonna blame everything on Kelowna today.
If I were to pick one to sharpen a razor on, I'm just gonna pop over here real quick. I like the Uhura 30. It's big and it's hard. It does a really, really nice job.
Key part with sharpening a straight razor is making sure that natural stone is hard AF basically.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be flat, and you need that hard stone to kind of sharpen up those guys, and it's just much nicer with them. That particular stone I just showed you, I don't typically use it for anything else other than super glue or white carbon and carbon steel or non-stainless razors.
Fighting Usyk makes a really great point. He just joined because he's been busy. We have like 25, 30 people watching, but only 7 likes?
Only 7 likes?
What is wrong with you people? Why am I here?
I'm a likable person.
I am staying an hour after work so that I can bring you this beautiful guy sharpening his knives, and you don't even subscribe, you don't turn on notifications. Like, why do we even bother? We work so hard.
That's really offended Owen.
I'm literally crying.
You're literally crying now, guys.
The only way I'll stop crying is if you liked and subscribed our video.
Okay, so this is I believe it's a Suita. It has a bit of a blossom in the middle there. It's a bit of a kind of spotty stone to it. I'm still playing on understanding the stone, but it's a bit of a harder stone. It's quite nice to finish knives onto, especially carbon steels. The thing with like natural stones is everyone's gonna give you a different kind of result in the end, depending on how much time you work on it, as well as how hard the actual material is, right? So. All of them are going to do different. It might give you a very toothy edge. It might give you some of a terrible edge. It might give you something that you're not really expecting, right? But that's the fun thing about these guys. Like, you can keep playing and get different results every single time. So we're going to do the same thing I just did with the 16 grit, 16K. A little bit of water, Tomonagura, right? And bam. So the reason why I do recommend this for natural stones is harder stones don't really develop as much mud as the synthetic ones. So you gotta kind of use a Nagura stone to force it out of the stone itself. It's a little tricky.
I got a question from a buddy on Instagram here. He's got an Uhira and he's going from a 1,000 to the Uhira. Do you think you should get something in between?
1,000 to Uhira.
Yeah.
You can do that.
Yeah, I probably would. I'd probably put like a 4 or a 6 in between there.
You can definitely do that. If you get a polishing stone, you might be able to kind of start from a really nice clean base. Mm-hmm. But it's very possible from 1,000.
Sure.
Just play with it.
The impossible is unknown here at Francis's Sharpening Power Hour, guys.
Yeah. Have fun with it. Buy the stone, have fun with it. You might discover something that you never knew. Right.
Hey, congratulations, Todd. Enjoy your new sharpening goodies. Best of luck. And don't forget to watch all of our videos and ask if you got any questions. Also, like and subscribe. Did I mention that?
Like is the most important.
I don't know. My boss told everybody to dislike and unsubscribe the other day. Maybe he was, I don't know what was going on there.
What?
Kevin, yeah.
What?
He said to dislike and unsubscribe the other day.
Someone's angry.
I don't know.
All
Look
right.
at the color that slurry's turning.
Nice orange color. You can see it get more and more muddier.
Oh, our buddy Francis is watching on Instagram. Or I know, sorry, our buddy Jordan is watching on Instagram. Sorry, Jordan apologizes he couldn't be here today. He had to leave because he doesn't like us anymore.
Yeah, he just ditched us like way earlier.
Yeah.
Didn't even say bye to me.
No, he just screwed right off. Yeah.
Yeah, he was super angry.
Yeah, he was really pissed.
He's like, you gave me this drink and you didn't even think about me.
Yeah.
I'm what? Okay.
You know what, Jordan? Just hit that little X in the window, and
don't forget to like subscribe.
Yeah.
All right, working from the other side. Mine is starting to turn a lot darker now.
Why is that, Francis? What's going on?
That's because the metal's mixing in with the grit.
You don't say.
Don't say.
And is that a good thing or is that a bad thing?
That's an awesome thing. That was a good thing. You want that grit to be like super thick.
Apparently, Jordan went home and immediately took a spite nap.
So nice little even sharpening on both sides. I'm gonna do one pass here, one pass back there, and a couple more.
How many likes are we at now, guys?
Same 7. Unless Jordan did, maybe 8 now. So
If we get 20 likes, Francis will eat some of the slurry off of that stone.
oh, definitely not.
Yeah.
Definitely not. I am not getting sick. We did not agree on this, Owen.
We talked about this and I told you no.
All right, so that's a nice like 6,000 natural stone finish there. Very little mud, but ended up with a bit of a nice slurry there. Okay, so the edge right now, without stropping, it's quite toothy. It's actually not gonna lie. It still feels incredibly smooth. Like you can see me basically take the piece of paper and I can do very gentle, smaller cuts, just the way like the larger one does.
Love that sound.
But it's so accurate that it basically catches every time. So you get the smoothness of the 16K, but the toothiness of a natural stone, which is real nice. It's a real weird kind of feel to it.
18 likes so far. Just 2 more guys, and Francis will eat all of that slurry.
I'm not eating the slurry off of it, okay? You can spade my face with the spray bottle. Okay?
All right,
that,
cool.
Okay?
25 likes.
25 likes, you guys gotta Owen gets to spray that bottle on my face, okay? That bottle on my face.
Come on, guys.
Paper towel test. Please don't do that. You can see, so now the paper the edge has a bit of a more toothiness, so I'm able to kind of like cut through the paper towel really nicely.
Mm-hmm.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. We're gonna do a little stroppy, just to kind of clean up the edge here. Gosh, this is so dirty over.
For a beginner home whetstone set, Frando, what 2 or 3 stones would you recommend? By the way, if you can elaborate on what kind of knives that you have, if they're European or Japanese steel, is this going to change things a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. So if you're treasuring 3 stones, the 3 stones are always going to be 220, 1,000, and maybe like a 3,000. That's actually what I have personally at home. It's one of my favorite kind of combinations to do. Now, if you have a German steel, it's great to kind of start with that 220. Now, if your knives are relatively okay in terms of sharpness, like you can feel the edge still, start with the 400. Like I really, that was the first stone that I started with this today, 1 hour ago, which is the 400. Slow moving stone, but it still gets the job done in terms of grinding that steel. And it's a much nicer type of polish in the end. So then when you move on to the higher ones, like the 1,000s and the 2,000s, the 4,000s, there's less work involved in terms of polishing that work. So one of my favorites is 400, 1,000, and then 3,000.
Actually, they just replied. They said they got Japanese stainless R2 and Aogami Super.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
Okay, so go the opposite way.
Good.
Don't worry about the 400. Get yourself some really nice polishing stones. Start with maybe a 3 to 4K, and then get yourself a 68K. If you're going from 3K, from 1 to 3, probably get a 6. If you're going from 1 to 4, grab an 8, right? But if you want more of a higher polish, maybe with 2-tier edge, go from 1, 3, and then 8, and that's kind of a nice combination. Especially if you're working with a lot of high carbon steels, get that 8 for sure. Yeah.
Mr. Usyk, that indeed was paper towel.
That was paper towel.
That was paper towel.
That was paper towel.
Yeah.
I'm not that great with the paper towel trick. It cuts. I'm great.
You did a wonderful job, and we all love you.
I need to still strop it though.
Yeah, you haven't even stropped yet, and we're still able to do that.
Strop. Okay, so we're gonna clean my.
Oh God, Damon. It's tradition you collect the swarf off your first denka and mix it into the ink for a tattoo. That sounds deeply unsanitary.
That seems very unsanitary.
I think you're infected, Damon. I'm just gonna say.
You're permanently encrusted in stone.
Carmine, if you want, I 1K, 3K, 8K. That's perfect. Get the Sharpen stones.
Yeah.
Do it.
Yeah.
Just do it right now.
Yeah. 1K, 3K, 8K.
And then show me your order number just so I know that you actually did it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. So we are getting to the stage of stropping now. So there's a couple of factors with stropping that I'm going to go a little bit more deeper into. Stropping has different components to it. I've made so many strops in the past. I got this quartz strop that I've totally just diminished.
I think so.
I have a one that's made from just felt.
That one sucked even harder.
The cork one is fine if you're just dragging that edge right through to remove the burr. There's also a suede and cotton and other stuff, a little more gentle material. I quite like this stuff here. The one side that we're going to really use is actually just leather, straight up just leather. Don't even talk about anything else, just straight leather. When you're finishing on a natural stone, I like to kind of keep that type of like edge that they just formed. So if you use a strop with chromium oxide, the chromium oxide is going to create more of a smoother edge, which is going to be resembling more of like what you get like kind of like a 6,000 synthetic Sharpen glass that you get, right? We don't want that. I want to keep that weird looking edge that I just formed, right? So let's go straight to leather. Leather has a nice protein structure. If you just use that, it's going to still give you a really nice edge to it, right? So we're going to take our leather. This one's not as clean. We're going to take our here. So that was the one we sell. We sell this guy here. That was about $69. Nice.
Oh God.
We're gonna take our Nona's wrench strop here. This one's a little bit cleaner, smoother. This one's locally made by one of our guys here. His name is Dan. He actually does more pasta tool work. You should check out his pasta.
Yeah, he does really sweet pasta tools. Yeah, we started getting these from our homie who used to do all the pasta work at Savio Hope, which if you're not in Vancouver, you might not know. Def's one of the best restaurants in the country.
Mm-hmm. Amazing. Yeah, so he made one of these guys strops. Works really well, veg tan leather. So these guys, I like to kind of hold on to my knife and strop with 2 fingers, 2 hands. Just nice.
Brad, get off that fence and just get a strop.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're watching this video, it means you're interested in sharpening, and if you're interested in sharpening, you need to get a strop.
Yeah, exactly. Strop is like the magical tool. If you don't have a strop yet after you sharpen.
Like, how long have you been on that fence for? Like, your legs must be really sore, man. Just take a load off, get off that fence.
Why are we talking about a fence?
He said he was on the fence.
He's on a fence?
Yeah, he said he was on the fence.
Oh, he's on the fence.
Man, get with the program, for God's sakes. Hanging strops are way better for straight razors, Damon. I find paddle strops are a little bit better for harder edged tools like a knife. The reason I like to use a straight razor on a hanging strop is because it sort of curls around the blade edge a little bit and sort of gives you a bit of a convex nature around the edge of the knife, whereas that's not something that you really want to have on a kitchen knife. It's also very easy to wreck your strop, a hanging strop that is, using a kitchen knife. Trust me.
He has a little bit of experience.
Yeah, we're not going to talk about that any further, okay?
Can I show them?
Yeah, okay.
Yes. So Owen one day, let's talk a little of our stroppy strops, okay? This is our original strop. This is one that I had personally hang right here so nobody else uses, right? But one day he took one of this one and look at it. Oh no.
I know, it's so sad.
Yeah, I know.
I was just doing I was doing a Takeda, and there was like somebody watching me, and they thought I was super cool. So I was trying to go real fast because I'm a cool dude. I just went and ruined a strop, and I was just like, done stropping.
Oh man, he didn't tell me for like 3 weeks about this. It's like, what happened? I was like, I just messed up.
Yeah.
And then that third week, he's just like, okay, I did a Takeda. This is the story. It was hilarious when he did this. Now he feels bad. He never wants to do it again. So yeah, that's why he suggested not to do a knife on there, and only use a actual bench strap. All right. So we just did a couple stroppings with that guy.
One of your buddy Kevin here. He said it's been a few years now, and since he took his class with you, Skill for Life. Thank you very much.
Oh, no problem, buddy.
Yeah.
Glad for you to join me in one of my classes.
Lou, we'll show you how to load up that compound on your strop in just a sec.
Oh, you hear that? So much better now. So
nice.
that even a little bit of stropping, right?
Always makes a difference.
Always makes a huge difference in the end there. See how clean that cuts is?
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, that's not an easy thing to pull off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just a little more on this middle area, just because it's catching just a bit. Oh, just love that.
That's a good one. Nice job. Nice job, buddy.
Yeah. Perfect. So that's the ending stropping. I did all you guys requested. I went down from the 400 to the 1,000.
We missed a couple things, though.
3,000.
We missed a couple things.
What did I miss?
We didn't true a stone. We're going to true a stone, and then what was the other thing that I was just saying?
Okay. I don't know.
Okay.
The natural stone
Couldn't have been that important then.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah, chromium.
Chromium.
Yeah, somebody asked us to put chromium on top.
Let's do the chromium.
We'll do that first, because that's super, super easy.
So chromium is actually really easy to load up. This is the typical looking paddle strap there. This is a giant crayon. You use the giant crayon to dye on the piece of paper. And just kind of cover it until it looks nice and even all the way through.
Yeah, super, super easy to do. I never put it on the leather side. I don't really want to mess with the leather. I only put it on the suede canvas.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Ours is also just a little beat up, so you never get that area.
All our straps are beat up.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I work here, and you saw what I did to that other strap.
That's why we can't have nice things.
Truing.
Outside and truing stone. Okay, perfect. So truing, we have a couple stones here. Oh, this was the really messed up one here.
Oh, yeah, that guy's not flat.
So which side of here? Was it this side? Yeah. So this guy is not really flat. Let's do a little. Right. So this is how you check for a stone that's not flat. You can either push your round around the top here, but you can start to see right around this area. It's not exactly flat from here to here.
Turn it sideways for me.
Turn it sideways like this.
Yeah, there we go. And up a little bit at my end. There we go. Now you can sort of see it a little bit higher. There we go. You can see that? Yeah, I can see that really well now. Yeah, there's a big wow in that guy.
Yeah, so that you want to avoid that happening, right? So how can you tell if it's going to be flat, and how can you tell if you're got to the very bottom of it? So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put on something a little bit higher up, so that I have a bit of space here. Next thing to do, I'm going to grab my chewing stone. Where's my diamond stone? So you have diamond stone, and you have typical chewing stone with a chip crack. Don't mind that.
Don't mind that.
This is made of silicon carbide. It's a very hard material that's bonded together. The channels help so that when you're moving the stone under, it doesn't like suck up and create an air bubble, and then it's almost impossible to move that thing around. So it creates a little bit of air. The diamond abrasive lasts way longer and stays flat a lot longer, but it's also 4 times, 5 times the cost with this guy. The nice thing about this guy is the diamond abrasives don't wear down; they just get pulled off, right? So they just work a lot better over time, and they cut the material a lot faster, which is also a very nice thing. And also, just as soon as it starts to wear down a bit more, it kind of acts like a really nice kind of Nakiri stone for you to use. But that's with time.
And another nice thing about them is that they are actually flat.
They are actually
Truing stones, these guys here, they are flat to, what is it, like 0.5 millimeters, something like that?
Yeah, exactly.
They work themselves out over time, but if you get it and you look at it and you think, hey, it's probably flat, it's like, yeah, you're probably right. Just keep using it.
Yeah, exactly. Next thing you need is a pencil that's actually sharp.
Oh, nice pencil sharpener.
Nice.
Look at this fancy boy.
I know how to sharpen my knives.
Sharp Pencil Club.
I know how to sharpen my knives. I know how to sharpen my pencils. I'm actually terrible at this.
You don't say.
Am I doing this right?
Is there any lead in that one?
I don't know. I think this is. Oh, it's cracked.
Oh, look at that.
Oh, look
Oh,
at that.
nice.
There is no lead. Okay.
Yeah.
Just wasted a very much time with that. Here's my next pencil. Perfect. This one has. Pretty sure this one has lead this time.
I think it does.
Okay, very good.
Welcome to How to Sharpen a Pencil with Francis.
Yep. Just grab a terrible knife. Preferably not Japanese. Oh no, my cut is showing now.
Oh no.
Oh no. You guys didn't see that. Yes, I did cut myself. Stop asking people. Okay, so I got my pencil. It's all sharpened up. Ooh, that's a good job. And then what you want to do is you want to draw something on the stone here. So, hello. My name is Fanny. Fantastic. Boom. Okay. Fill up all the spaces with some other things. And one thing you'll see is tick is, and that little section there is not going to be rubbed off first because it's the low spot of that stone there. Add a bit of water. Oh my god, this thing is dry. Okay. Add a little bit of water and start to chew down the whole thing.
Okay, you can see the low spots and high spots, right?
Yeah, so this is a very high spot. That's a very low spot. You can see this kind of distinct line that goes across, and that's just the area that's been touching onto the stone there. It's just removing that little bit of material. So let's focus on this area, and you can see it start to pull back that line slowly and surely.
Yes, that was Francis' Spyderco. He likes Spyderco. What kind of Spyderco was that?
Spyderco, that one is the Cali 3.
Yeah, okay,
With
cool.
ZDB 189.
Oh, ZDB 189.
It's a fancy knife. I lost my Spyderco Para 3 a little while ago. Sad, I know. I want to find a new one, but that was a sprint one, and I'm kind of sad that I don't want to get a new one because I don't like to replace sprint ends. I miss my Spydercos. Okay. Oh, that's a really low spot. So.
Yeah, these stones dish out easily, but they also true pretty quickly, considering.
Yeah, much faster than everything else.
Yeah.
So let's talk about other chewing things other than just flattening. So when it comes to flattening and chewing stones, it really depends on how much and where you're going to use it. Now, a lot of people, there's a lot of people that sharpen but don't want to flatten very often because they just don't want to like lose material. And there's some cases like sharpening on Nakiri is this case, right? You don't need a super flat stone, but you want it to be relatively flat so that you're not having to fix it all the time, right? If you don't have a super flat stone, or you have a flat stone but it's not touching in the corners or anything, move the knife around that particular spot where you want to wear it down quicker, and that way you can kind of wear down that material more evenly, right? So as you get better at sharpening, use the spots that don't get used a lot. So typically I like to use from here all the way down to here, and the corners don't get touched at all, right? So use those more often and chew less maybe, right? But if you're doing like wide bevel sharpening, make sure you're sharpening your flat. Your stone's always flat. Yeah.
Guys, we're going to sign off here pretty soon. I just need to know real quick, how many likes do we have so far? Right in the face. You said.
It was entertainment purposes. No, we quit it.
This rubber pad that our stone holders are on is actually a pet mat.
Yeah.
It's for like putting your dog food bowls on. What did you just got it online, right?
I just got it.
Yeah.
It's cheap.
Yeah.
It's literally any pet food store will have it. It's nice because like it has a bit of wall, and then if water goes up to the edge.
Yeah.
No dice. Yeah. Oh, we have less than 25 likes. Good.
We're at 20.
Don't get to see my face get sprayed.
Okay, guys. Next week, if we get 25 likes, Francis is allowed to spray me in the face with the bottle.
Do it.
Yeah.
25 likes next time.
What are we gonna do next week? We didn't even plan anything. Let's figure it out now. What do we want to do next week?
Next week.
Anybody got any suggestions?
We did a Nakiri today. Nothing fancy. Like we like single bubble sharpening is usually done with Alto there. Maybe we should do like more of a basic Yanagiba sharpening next week.
Yeah, we can do Yanagiba touch-ups. Yeah, single bevel touch-ups. Yeah, we'll touch on that. Maybe to spend about 20 minutes on there, and we'll also do the basics class. Yeah.
Yeah, like we can instead of like Naoto explaining more of the advanced stuff. If you guys want more of like a general idea of like how like maybe I should explain it for me and Owen. Will be a little bit easier. No, next week maybe.
Let's do carving knives. Let's do sujis. We'll do yanis.
Yeah.
Asymmetrical grinds. I'm not going to do in this class. It's something that we should do, but I think it's a little bit too advanced for a lot of our followers. Maybe Naoto can do something like that. I don't want to alienate people, you know.
Yeah. We'll definitely do something like that. Sujihiki will be next week, and then we'll touch on like single bevel knives the week after maybe.
Another disappointed that I don't want to do asymmetric grinds. All right, we'll do it at some point. just for you nerds.
Just for you guys.
Yeah.
Just because you asked. Okay.
All right.
Perfect. You're looking pretty good there. You got more questions? Oh, gotta get. Okay. Oh.
Don't forget to like and subscribe.
Okay, so anyways, you guys don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the bell notification, the like button. Don't press the dislike button. If you guys are on Instagram, press the little heart button. Anything that requires love, right? If you guys just tap it. If it looks like a thumbs up, just tap it. Give us a little bit of love there. And don't forget to subscribe to YouTube for our Knifewear channel, guys. We have plenty of videos about how to treat your knives, how to sharpen your knives, and all that kind of stuff. So it's going to be very enjoyable in the upcoming weeks here. All right. Other than that, don't forget to subscribe and we're good to go.
Yeah, don't forget to join us tomorrow for Knifewear's advanced class. We're now just going to rehandle a knife for y'all.
Yeah.